Government operations in Jefferson County remain halted. Coming up, we share what led to the shutdown and what's at stake for tonight's meeting with the Quorum Court. And intense wildfires have destroyed some thousands of acres in Southern California. Dangerous winds are returning, posing a new threat. We have details in 11 minutes. Plus, crews are working to smooth your bumpy ride. Drive with us at 12:22 for a look at the latest pothole repairs. This is THV 11 at noon. Well, thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, a day I like to call Hump Day. And Nathan, let me say, it's a beautiful hump day. I can deal with these winter conditions, this temperature. I like this type of temperature. How long can we expect it to be a little cool?
Good afternoon, Jurnee. It is cooler out there this afternoon compared to yesterday. We hit highs into the low 50s yesterday. Today, that will not be the case. Cold front made its way through while you were sleeping last night. And the temperatures right now are primarily into the 30s. There's a little band of clouds scooting its way through north central Arkansas. That's dropping its way down into central Arkansas. So through this afternoon, we'll see a mixture of sunny clouds. Temperatures today, I think, primarily climbing up into the low to mid 40s. And then tonight, they don't drop off like a rock. They'll be into the low 30s by 10, 11 o'clock. Highs today, 50s, upper 50s, South Arkansas, low 40s into North Arkansas. And tonight we'll start off your Thursday into the mid to upper 20s, maybe even some low 30s for some areas. Look what happens tomorrow, though. Temperatures much warmer. We shoot up into the mid to upper 50s, maybe some 60s just down to the south of the metro. But don't get used to that type of temperature forecast. Big changes arrive this weekend. More on those chilly numbers coming up.
Well, now to some breaking news. Just a short while ago, a deal was reached to cease military operations across Israel and Hamas, a major development in what has been 15 months of brutal use of armed forces. The deal promises for the dozens of hostages held in Hamas to be released. Palestinian prisoners in Israel will also be released under the new deal. It will take effect once approved by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We continue to follow budget disagreements in Jefferson County. The Quorum Court failed to pass a spending resolution for this year. County operations are shut down until an agreement is reached. THV 11's Ashley Godwin has the story.
The hallways are fairly empty in the Jefferson County courthouse because of the shutdown, but despite that, employees are still choosing to work even though they may not get paid.
I'm responsible for these people in this office, and I want to make sure they get paid. And it's sad to say that at this point, I'm not in a position to do that.
The halls were empty and some doors closed, yet signs saying, "Come in, we're open, we're hanging."
We're all still doing our jobs because we're public servants.
It hasn't been a great start to the new year in Jefferson County. Monday evening, the Quorum Court was tasked with passing rules and procedures, plus passing the 2025 budget. 3 different budgets hung in the balance. The county judge proposed a budget that some city employees said would cut vital operations.
I had a position cut, I had a person's salary was cut, and all my operation funds were cut. There was no money in my budget to pay for my tax collector service.
The sheriff's office also had a proposed budget. They said if the county judge's budget passed, then they would have to lay off jailers, along with not being able to fund juvenile meals.
Specifically, it has taken almost $2 million, more than $2 million out of our budget.
They want everybody to have a proposed budget, have their way. Budgets don't work that way.
Now, paychecks will be on hold until the Quorum Court and county judge can pass a budget. In Jefferson County, Ashley Godwin, THV 11 News.
Well, the Quorum Court is gathering again tonight. It will be their second attempt to pass a budget and reopen the county government. Ashley Godwin will be there. We'll follow this story during THV 11's late night coverage. State Congress will spend a significant amount of time weighing new legislation that includes a proposed prison facility in Franklin County. Those in opposition of expanding the Corrections Department made their stance clear before Arkansas lawmakers. During Governor Sanders' State of the State address, protesters gathered to strike down putting a prison just south of Charleston. The Franklin County and River Valley Coalition has adamantly pushed against the new development. The group called out the lack of transparency surrounding the multi-million-dollar project.
When you don't do a feasibility study or an environmental study or a geotechnical study or an accurate workforce study or more than a basic traffic count, you don't do an analysis of the access roads to the property, and you just buy a piece of land and say, we'll figure out how to build this thing on it, of course the costs are going to increase.
The final price tag of building the facility has been raised into question. On the other hand, Governor Sanders insists that a new prison would relieve overcrowding. The Franklin County Prison is just one of many agenda items up for discussion this year. Our state's leader stood before the Arkansas House and Senate Tuesday, delivering her State of the State address. Sanders used the time to present her vision for maternal health, education, and much more.
Education, cost of living, public safety. Those are the priorities that have defined the first 2 years of my administration. And with your help, those are the priorities that will define the next 2 as well.
There could be repulsion of some initiatives. However, the Democratic Party of Arkansas says it's open to bipartisanship. An Arkansas woman and her husband are being accused of killing her 2-year-old son. The child died last summer. Traumatic injuries was ruled out as his cause of death. The mom and stepdad, though, claim it was an accident. Lauren Spencer has more.
It appeared that the juvenile could have possibly drowned at that time.
Back in June, Crawford County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived to a scene in Kibler of an unresponsive child. According to court documents, Hayes told deputies he had been teaching the toddler and 2 other children how to swim. He believed the toddler had gotten water in his lungs because he was spitting it up. Documents say that the other 2 children were interviewed, and they said Hayes had been throwing the victim in the water despite him not wanting to swim, and said Hayes and Atkins would physically punish him. An investigation revealed the 2-year-old boy had multiple traumatic injuries on the head, face, and torso, and died from prolonged lack of oxygen to the brain.
There's several things that takes place that during an investigation, and we want to make sure that everything that we do is the right thing.
We asked multiple agencies if they've ever gotten calls about this family. Kibler police say they weren't aware of the pair until the morning after the Crawford County Sheriff's Office responded. Sheriff Perry says the family was not on their radar until after the child died.
I know there were some people that came forward with some allegations after the fact, but I'm not aware of any kind that happened, any reports that were made prior to.
Arkansas State Police couldn't comment, citing a law that doesn't allow them to release records from hotline reports or their Crimes Against Children division. Gavin Lesnick with the state's Department of Human Services says they take reports of child abuse and neglect seriously, and they investigate and respond to calls that come through their hotline. But maltreatment investigations are confidential under state law. Court records don't say if that hotline was called on this family before the day the young boy died. According to the DHS website, people can report child abuse or neglect by calling the child abuse hotline or go online if they are a mandated reporter. The hotline operator then decides if there's enough information in the report to warrant an investigation. If so, an investigator will visit with everyone involved in the report to find out what happened.
Officers in Jacksonville are conducting a search for 2 people who they linked to a shooting near Highway 161. These 2 on your screen remain at large this afternoon. Jacksonville police say Dedrick Williams, and Willie Tyler should be considered armed and dangerous. They're said to be in a 2-door Honda Accord. You should immediately contact police with details on their whereabouts. As for the initial shooting, we told you that happened between a set of tracks close by the highway. 2 people were sent to the hospital as a result. Both are expected to be okay. However, 2 other suspects have already been arrested. We'll follow this story and provide details as they come. The incoming presidential cabinet has a number of hoops to jump through before taking position. The in-depth look on the confirmation process ahead at 12:19.